Bless this highly nutritious microwavable macaroni and cheese dinner.
Blake Lively is one famous actress who's been open about her love of cheesy and comforting Kraft Macaroni and Cheese. Drew Barrymore is also a big fan, but you definitely don't need to be a big star to enjoy this affordable and familiar treat. It's a convenient option for so many people from all walks of life, from cash-strapped college students to busy professionals and beyond. While Kraft Macaroni and Cheese has its critics, the Kraft company sells 1 million boxes of the stuff each and every day. So together, let's uncover the top 10 untold truths of Kraft Macaroni and Cheese.
Too much macaroni!
Kraft Mac and Cheese has been around since 1937.
Macaroni and cheese. We gotta make this.
This box dinner doubles as a lunch or even a snack, and it's been around since 1937. Before it was available for sale, processed cheese had to be invented. Cheese is processed with salts that emulsify, and this allows the cheese to stay fresh for much longer. Once the processing of cheese was possible, a man named James Lewis Kraft, who lived in Chicago, was awarded a patent for his own clever cheese processing method. This happened in 1916. After he got the patent, he launched a cheese enterprise. Kraft wanted to reduce waste because cheddar cheese of that era had an extremely short shelf life. His new process helped people to enjoy cheddar taste without the fast spoilage problem. While the Great Depression was happening, Kraft heard about a salesman who was traveling from door to door, selling macaroni in a package of Kraft powdered cheese mix. Kraft contacted the salesman, did a deal, and started marketing the product as Kraft Macaroni and Cheese. In 1937, the first Kraft Mac and Cheese product was available commercially, in America as well as Canada. One fun fact is that James Lewis Kraft was born in Ontario, Canada. When it was introduced, this product featured a very long shelf life. It would remain edible and unspoiled for a full 10 months. Since many people didn't own fridges back then, the long shelf life of the macaroni and cheese product was very appealing.
This is incredible. You like it?
Liking this video so far? Show us some love by hitting that subscribe button and ringing that bell to join our notification squad.
If you are not one of us, you are one of them.
The Kraft Macaroni and Cheese cheese packet used to be attached to the box with an elastic band.
You stack them up, wrap rubber bands around them.
It's always fascinating to delve into the background of a really good idea. With Kraft Macaroni and Cheese, the idea needed a little tweaking. At first, a St. Louis salesman went from door to door, selling the dried pasta, along with a Kraft powdered cheese sauce mix that was attached to the pasta box with a simple rubber band. He was so close to the Kraft Mac and Cheese concept that we know and love today, but needed to evolve his idea just a little. The founder of the Kraft Macaroni and Cheese company connected with the salesman, and then they tweaked the concept. This was when it was decided that the cheese sauce packet should go inside the box. This simple change marked the inception of one of the world's most beloved packaged food products. Unfortunately, this salesman doesn't get the same acclaim that James Lewis Kraft does, but his clever methods of packaging and selling pasta and cheese sauce mix are worthy of attention and praise. Once the sauce packet was inside of the box, the perfect product was born. It was compact, convenient, and simple to use. It filled a need in the marketplace. At the time, it was very innovative.
Most innovative.
Kraft Mac and Cheese was very popular during World War II.
And what about that other essential of military life? Food.
Kraft is a company that's produced some beloved products, including Kraft Macaroni and Cheese and Velveeta cheese. During World War II, the popularity of Kraft's product line skyrocketed. Kraft Mac and Cheese was the most popular of them all, with 50 million boxes sold. During the war, food ration stamps were given out, and Americans were able to grab a couple of boxes of Kraft Mac and Cheese with single ration stamps. They got filling food without needing to use more than one stamp. The desire to get more satisfying food for fewer ration stamps fueled the incredible popularity of Kraft Mac and Cheese during wartime. Today, Kraft Macaroni and Cheese is still world-renowned for its affordability. It's a packaged food product that isn't out of reach to most people. It's not an elitist product. It's for the masses, and people from many different income levels enjoy it, although those with the least money may appreciate it the most because it's just so reasonably priced.
That's your specialty, instant macaroni and cheese.
Canadians love Kraft Macaroni and Cheese the most.
We are attempting to attract the giant now with a bowl of Kraft Dinner.
Residents of the Great White North are really into Kraft Macaroni and Cheese, or as it's better known, Kraft Dinner, or KD. It's an adored staple in Canadian households. In Canada, 1.7 million boxes of the stuff are sold every week, out of 7 million boxes sold globally per week. Each Canadian consumes, on average, 3.2 boxes of KD annually. This means that Canadians consume 55% more Kraft Macaroni and Cheese than their USA counterparts. So why is the product so popular in Canada? Well, it might be be because Kraft is such a trusted company there. Kraft produces lots of food products that Canadians love and believe in. For example, Canadians are big fans of Kraft peanut butter, which features 2 cute teddy bears on every plastic jar. Cracker Barrel cheese also comes from Kraft, and it's a Canadian favorite. Plus, Kraft Mac and Cheese is served hot, and hot food is comforting food during frosty Canadian winters. Overall, the popularity of Kraft Mac and Cheese in Canada is really a bit of a mystery. It's a Canadian standard like poutine, which is made from cheese curds, gravy, and French fries. Canadians clearly like their comfort food cheesy, and KD does deliver tons of creamy, cheesy taste.
He works for Kraft Dinner, and that's fairly inexpensive.
Kraft Macaroni and Cheese contains phthalates.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Processed cheese is more likely to contain phthalates than non-processed cheese, and Kraft Macaroni and Cheese contains processed cheese and always has. A New York Times story from 2017 referenced a study that found phthalates in a variety of brand name macaroni and cheese products, including Kraft Mac and Cheese. Some people are worried about phthalates because they may have a negative impact on androgen hormones, including testosterone, and because there might be a connection between birth defects in baby boys and phthalates. Another issue is the fact that phthalates have been linked with behavioral and learning problems in older kids. However, all of the research on phthalates thus far has been done on animals, not humans. Plus, the phthalate we're most concerned about, DEHP, is no longer in wide use. The FDA hasn't banned them yet, and they may never ban them.
Get out! You are banned!
You're banned!
You're banned!
You're banned! You're banned!
22 different varieties of Kraft Macaroni and Cheese are available.
Ooh, so many choices, Maggie.
If you want Kraft Mac and Cheese in original flavor, it's easy to find, but you definitely have other options. Kraft Macaroni and Cheese comes in a whopping 22 varieties, so there's something to suit every macaroni and cheese fan's taste buds. Go for white cheddar and bacon, 4 cheese, or cheddar broccoli cheese. This just scratches the surface. This company keeps evolving by offering customers new taste formulations and new pasta shape options. The company currently has 3 categories of Kraft Mac and Cheese. The categories are Blue Box, Microwavable, and Deluxe. By branching out and offering new flavors and textures, the team at Kraft give customers the power to experiment and find the Kraft Mac and Cheese formulas that they love the most. Cartoon-shaped noodles, such as SpongeBob SquarePants-shaped macaroni, have also appeared on store shelves, and this type of Kraft Mac and Cheese is so much fun for kids.
Are ya ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
Kraft Macaroni and Cheese has 1,200 calories in a box.
Wow, a lot of calories.
Kraft Mac and Cheese has 400 calories per serving and 3 servings per box. If you prepare the mac and cheese as directed with lower fat milk and margarine, and then eat the whole box of it, you'll take in 1,200 calories. A typical supper has less calories than that, so it's a high-calorie choice for a main meal. When you eat a single serving, you'll take in less calories than a typical supper. If you struggle with portion control, share your box of Kraft Macaroni and Cheese with a child, partner, or friend. If you're going to eat the whole box by yourself, balance out the indulgence by eating some lighter, healthier meals for the other parts of your day. Kraft Mac and Cheese is meant to be filling and have calories. It was designed to help people who didn't have a lot of money to feel satisfied. In terms of nutrition, Kraft Mac and Cheese contains protein, which is fuel for muscles. When you eat a serving of Kraft Macaroni and Cheese, you'll access 10 protein grams, which is 13% of the recommended daily amount of protein. Each serving of Kraft Macaroni and Cheese contains 8.5 grams of fat. However, Kraft Macaroni and Cheese contains quite a bit of sodium. The sodium count for a serving of Kraft Mac and Cheese is 710 milligrams. That's 30% of the recommended daily allotment for sodium. Kraft Mac and Cheese does contain some valuable nutrients, including vitamin A, calcium, and iron. Kraft Macaroni and Cheese is great, but it should be part of a varied diet. It shouldn't be a main meal choice all of the time. When eaten in moderation, it offers nutritional value and calories. It's also filling enough to make people feel satisfied, even though it's such a cheap meal option. One Canadian teacher received a complaint from Kraft because he kept mentioning Kraft Macaroni and Cheese during a healthy eating class. He also named his class Kick the KD, and then had to change the name because the name is trademarked. He did stop mentioning the product in class, in addition to changing the title because he didn't want legal hassles from Kraft Canada.
I'm whispering in court to look smart.
Breaking records with Kraft Macaroni and Cheese.
You broke the record.
Yes, nice!
Ever since the rise in popularity of Kraft Mac and Cheese, people have probably been trying to outdo each other in seeing how fast one could polish off a whole box. No more so than now, in the internet age, has the gauntlet been thrown down and challenges met when it comes to breaking Kraft Mac and Cheese speed eating records. How fast could you wolf down an entire box of Kraft Mac and Cheese? Well, the current record stands at 30.50 seconds.
Cool!
This sounds impossible, but it was done, according to recordsetter.com. This type of speed eating isn't healthy. It's actually really unsafe, so don't try this at home. Savor your macaroni and cheese slowly. Some contests are about quantity versus speed. For example, there are Kraft Mac and Cheese challenges out there online that feature people who sit down to eat 4 or 5 boxes of the stuff in single sittings. That's a crazy amount of Kraft Mac and Cheese to eat in one sitting. No matter how much you love this classic American mac and cheese product, you shouldn't overdo it like that. Binge eating Kraft Macaroni and Cheese is probably going to leave you feeling sick and bloated. Kraft Mac and Cheese eating contests aren't sponsored by Kraft.
You know what? We don't condone that sort of thing, okay?
Bacon is a popular Kraft Macaroni and Cheese add-on.
Well, you know I love bacon on pretty much everything.
We live in a world where people love putting their meals on Instagram or recording themselves while they prepare food. We all get hungry, so interest in food is universal. When it comes to Kraft Mac and Cheese, people love to modify the recipe by personalizing it with their own add-ons. The most popular add-on for Kraft Mac and Cheese is bacon. A little bacon adds a ton of taste and also ups the protein gram count. Bacon isn't the healthiest protein around, but substituting turkey bacon, which is better for you, will be a great way to get a taste that's very similar. Kraft Macaroni and Cheese is a savory food, and it's easy to pump up its taste and texture with chopped veggies, condiments, and spices. People at Reddit have weighed in on their fave add-ons. Aside from bacon, they love adding French fries to their Kraft Mac and Cheese. I guess this gives a poutine-like effect because Kraft Mac and Cheese has such a cheesy taste. Another gourmet twist on classic Kraft Mac and Cheese is the addition of sausage and apples. Some people prefer to keep it simple by boosting the heat level of Kraft Mac and Cheese by adding hot pepper sauce or cayenne pepper. Sliced or chopped jalapenos serve the same purpose and also add a bit of crunch. The next time you whip up a batch of Kraft Macaroni and Cheese, take a look around your kitchen. See what ingredients you have on hand, which may turn your Kraft Mac and Cheese into a gourmet meal.
He's a gourmet chef, so.
Customers didn't notice Kraft Macaroni and Cheese ingredient changes in 2016.
I didn't even notice.
Kraft Mac and Cheese may taste much the same as it always has, but the ingredients and boxes of Kraft Macaroni and Cheese changed during 2016. The truth is that hardly anyone noticed. Business kept booming as usual. The distinctive blue boxes continued to fly off of store shelves. Kraft was trying to make its macaroni and cheese healthier. It took away some of the bad stuff, including dyes, preservatives, and artificial flavors. This is good news for Kraft Mac and Cheese fans. The team at Kraft Mac and Cheese didn't advertise the changes. They initiated the changes and then watched and waited. People didn't really realize that their Kraft Mac and Cheese was being colored with spices rather than yellow number 5 dye. The company kept selling the same amount of Kraft Mac and Cheese as it had beforehand. This next-gen Kraft Macaroni and Cheese was better for customers. To keep the garish neon effect of the cheese mix, the company subbed its usual yellow dye for annatto, turmeric, and paprika. Kraft knows that a lot of customers these days want food that is more natural. They're listening to their customers and making changes. Kraft Macaroni and Cheese is part of popular culture and probably always will be, even if it changes a bit over the decades.
Nah, it's Kraft night. Mac and cheese and Tomb Raider.
You know what else is another fulfilling, inexpensive treat? Our channel. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, tap that notification bell, and stay right here. Click on another one of our great videos.